Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 8, and this is going to be my trailer breakdown for episode 7 for this season, otherwise entitled Lockdown. But of course, before we do anything, let's actually watch this trailer.
Wakey, wakey.
Tell us what it is you want.
There are some valuable items in your armory. If it's made of gold, it's mine to control.
Clock's ticking down, Captain. 30, 29.
We gotta go.
You could just kill her, you know. You have no sense of drama.
So yeah, last episode was our return to The Flash after 3.5 months, and it felt like 3.5 months really. Like that first 2 months actually went pretty quickly, but I must say those last 4 or 6 weeks just felt like they went really slow. But we did come back with a really entertaining, really fun, and just really surprisingly well done episode, and more relevant just to the overall the overarching story of this season and just the show as a whole, when we had Bart and Nora having to go through time to fix the timeline after some temporal messing with due to them time traveling and just a lot of stuff going on there. At first, we thought maybe, heading into the episode, we thought maybe it was around Armageddon, but it's around other time travel involving themselves and Godspeed and stuff like that. Now, it was cool to see like past versions of like season 1 characters of characters like, Joe, Cecile, Iris and stuff, and even Barry, I guess, passed out. But of course, we did see the return of Eddie Thawne. We know he's coming back later this season. We will actually have some interviews to go over, in some videos over the weekend, which are very interesting and make my mind go, where are we going? But that's for another video. But of course, one of the bigger things is now Jay Garrick is alive in the future, so I wonder if that will play into certain things, but that's a wait and find out. But last episode didn't really set up this episode at all, unless there's one thing in the promo images that the end scene did set up, which we'll talk about later in the video. But of course, before we get into the actual breakdown of the trailer, we will quickly read out the synopsis or description for the episode, as it does give us a bit more context and talk about some stuff that's not shown in the trailer or promo images. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your general thoughts about this trailer and the promo images and everything we go over and what you're looking forward to. Any theories, predictions, let me know all that in the comments. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, you just want to show your support and looking forward to the episode or anything like that, why not drop a like on the video? Show your support. When a criminal invades the CCPD, Barry and Kramer must trust and rely on each other if they are going to make it out safely. Meanwhile, Caitlin learns a valuable lesson while out with Snow and Mark, and yes, that's still a typo, it should say Frost and Mark. The CW still hasn't fixed it. But yeah, we do start off the trailer with Barry and the rest of the CCPD being knocked out by just like a little gas bomb smoke thingy, knocking you out thingy, whatever it is. But then they have these wrist thingy-majiggies put on as well, which I'm assuming are dampeners or something like that, which is random, as are they just like these criminals that we'll get to in a second, are they just taking precautions in case any of the cops are metahumans? Or is it something where, like, if they go outside the CCPD, maybe they're like bombs? I'm not too sure what they are, because they're on everyone. They're on all the cops, including, the people that aren't cops that work there, like Barry. So I don't know if they're dampeners. It's hard to tell. Maybe if you try to take it off, it blows up. Maybe it might just be like a explosive device where you're at your own risk if you try and do something and you will die. But yeah, they've got these wrist things on. But of course, in regards to the criminal side, we have Goldface returning, the man who loves the gold, and of course, he's the daddy that likes the metal. But this time, he's not alone, and he's not with Amino Black. He's with some of his crew. Now, honestly, I bet you in this episode we learned that him and Amino Black broke up again. I bet you that's in this episode. But we learned that they're actually after some stuff in the armory. Now, this stuff in the armory is looking to be stuff made out of gold mainly, I'm assuming. But one question I have is Barry's new gold boots going to be affected by Goldface's lust for gold? I know people have memed that, but it legitimately might be a thing. He loves gold. Barry's got those new golden boots, and we know that you can see in the trailer that he comes into CCPD in the Flash suit. Wouldn't surprise me. Now, obviously, whether we get another iconic line like "Daddy likes the metal" is another question in itself. And even though deep down you are saying you don't want it, you really know. You really know you want another line like that in this episode. Don't deny it. You want it. Just accept it. Now, looking at this episode and just what we got coming afterwards, I'm wondering if this is the one true filler episode for the season, maybe, where really the main stuff in the episode, with Goldface and stuff, isn't really relevant going forward, at least just based off, face value. However, the stuff in this episode with Barry and Kramer and just their general relationship could be seen as relevant to the main story of the show. Because as I've been saying, especially leading into this episode, I think this episode could be a make or break for Kramer, because Kramer's going to be spending a lot of time with Barry in this episode, just them two working things out, trying to take down Goldface and get, the other members of the CCPD out safely. I think if we leave this episode not going, hey, I enjoyed Kramer in this episode, I think her and Barry were good together, that's not a good sign if we don't leave this episode with that thought. So this episode, I think, could be a make or break. And if it works, then it's going to be relevant going forward, because I would assume we're going to see them working together, and it's going to be Barry's main confidant within the CCPD. Now, the synopsis, just going to the synopsis quickly, it talks about something with, Caitlin and Frost in this episode. But we know that there will also be something in this episode revolving around Caitlin or Frost that was scrapped from season 6, not season 7, but season 6, and it will be in this episode. Daniel Panabaker, who plays Caitlin and Frost, said that in like an Instagram thingy. So I'm not too sure what exactly it is. It could be something really small. It could be something, important to the character. I'm not too sure. It's hard to tell. Nothing in the trailer gives it away. Nothing in the synopsis really highlights it. So I guess just keep your eyes and ears out for it. Now, next episode, I know this is about episode 7, but just quickly, in regards to the episode after this, episode 8, does that start the next story? Because that episode synopsis does talk about a murderer in the synopsis, and maybe this episode, episode 7, maybe has a cliffhanger around that maybe, alludes to what that could be. Because Eric Wallace has hinted that these interlude episodes are still relevant to the overarching story of the season, like I was saying earlier in the video, with it specifically, I guess, relating to the second graphic novel or the middle graphic novel of the season. We're meant to have 3. The first one being Armageddon, the second one, of course, being the middle one, and then one to finish off the season. And a bit of a teaser for the interview we'll go over on the weekend in another video. Apparently that's meant to be the most outlandish thing that Eric Wallace has done, which is either a really exciting thing to look forward to or a bit of a hesitant thing, because Eric Wallace is a bit of a madman. He can write some really crazy and weird stuff. However, based off that episode 6 we had, and this still looks like it'd be a bit silly with Goldface, but could still be good for developing character, and episode 8, sounds interesting from what we have. And this is a sort of a question to everyone. I guess we have to wait till we see episode 7 until we can sort of really give a proper thought. But I guess you can just go based off what you're hearing. Do you think Eric Wallace learned his lesson from the interlude episodes from last season, which we had the Cisco episode, which was fun, but there were elements in that episode which didn't work, and they were rushing them and they just sounded stupid. And then we had 2 episodes that followed, which were some of the worst episodes of the season, and those were the 3 interlude episodes. Cisco episode, which was pretty good, but mainly just the Cisco stuff. Everything outside of that with other stuff going on wasn't very good. And then we had the Cecile and then Allegra episode, which weren't very good. Do you think he learnt the criticism and tried to make it, fold into everything else more properly, or, at least designed a bit better to fold in a bit, a bit better? Or do you just think it's just those ideas in that season just didn't really work well, and this time they came up with better ideas? It could be, I guess they sort of are the same sort of answer. But I just have a feeling he learned his lesson, and that's a good thing. If you can learn, it's a sign of improvement. It's a sign of development, if you want to call it. But yeah, of course, we have at least one more interlude episode, which is this one, because I don't know if episode 8 is meant to be an interlude episode or it's meant to be the start of the next graphic novel. Like, officially, I'm not 100% sure. I guess we'll find out this time next week. But to finish off the video, we do have some promo images from this episode. The first one is Barry in CCPD in his flash suit. It looks like he's up against Goldface. I know you can only see the sleeve there, but it looks like the clothes that Goldface was wearing. In the back, you can see a CCPD officer with the wrist thing on them. So maybe Barry was able to break his off. Maybe he was able to do some scientific stuff and was able to get it off so he could, get into his flash suit and then take on Goldface. I'm assuming this is actually probably a final thing. But then again, in the trailer, you do see him at the beginning, what looks to be the beginning of the episode running in. So maybe he starts the episode off as the Flash in CCPD and finishes off the episode as the Flash in CCPD. Could be both of those. Then we just have some photos of Barry at Joe's house with him and with Joe and Cecile. Just having a chat. Not too sure specifically what this could be about. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's him balancing certain things. You can't really get anything, but It's a Joe and Barry chat with Cecile spectating. But here's probably the most interesting things out of the promo images, and that's Iris. Now, Iris is looking a bit weird here. This is probably, like, the one I'm showing you here is probably the most normal one, where she's sitting down, but even then, like, the stuff on the table looks a bit, like, I don't know if we've ever really seen this in the West household. But then you look at this one, she walks in, she looks a bit shocked, like she's almost like very, very surprised, like, oh, what the hell's going on here? And then you see this one when she's standing up and she's almost like, doesn't look overly happy, not like angry, but she's once again sort of looks surprised. So I wonder, is Iris in the still force here with Dion? Because at the end of last episode, she had that hairbrush, she put it down and it disappeared like the time sickness stuff does. So I'm wondering if in this episode, Dion brings her in here, or maybe she goes in there herself and maybe she's seeing some stuff. I'm not too sure what it is, but she just seems to be a bit out of whack and surprised at where she is, at least initially in these photos. And she is in the West House, as I was saying. Like, it is the West House. You can just tell by the walls and some of the decorations and the windows and stuff like that. And even like the table, I think, has the same cloth on it. It's just that it has like all these teacups and everything going on. So this could be Iris, you know, stuff relating to her time sickness, because obviously it was teased at the end of last episode as well. But yeah, that's for us to wait and find out, I guess, in this episode. But yeah, guys, there wasn't much really to talk about in this trailer. I thought I'd just go over some general stuff and stuff that this episode could lead into. Whether it's showing it or alluding to it, either or. But of course, if you enjoyed the video, it would be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comments section down below your various opinions about this. Just let me know. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I will catch you guys later. Goodbye.